We got an email with an update on something we've talked about here on the program. And since, as we'll talk about later, the WWE is apparently in the process of obtaining a new talent, Brian, not you, but Brian from Port Elizabeth, South Africa, sent an email basically recapping what has happened to the people that we picked on the roster from the WWE several months ago when we were going to start running through the rosters and trying to pick who we'd keep and separate the wheat from the chaff, etc. We got the WWE roster, and within, within several weeks after we picked all the people that we would keep and the ones that we would get rid of, they got rid of a lot of the ones that we would keep and etc. Right? Well, he's put pen to paper here and has gotten a recap of everybody that we picked that we would keep on the roster and use and what's happened to them. Would you like to hear this real quick, Brian?
Yeah, this should be interesting, actually. When did we do this?
I can't remember. It was okay. He says I recently rewatched the episode from 6 months ago. So it was in the fall. It was last fall's when it was.
Okay.
And we picked, according to the Vern Gagne Grade 8 theory, 8 top guys, and then the 8 guys underneath those, 8 women and 4 men's tag teams, because it's a bigger roster than Vern ever had, so we expanded everything. But basically, here's what happened to the heels that we picked. Walter lost the NXT UK title to Ilya, had his name changed to Gunther. Karrion Kross with Scarlett. A ruined call-up to Raw. Babyface Jeff Hardy cheated to beat him in under 2 minutes. Then they ruined his entrance. Then both were released. Okay, you don't win them all. Roman Reigns, still Universal Champ. Bobby Lashley got screwed out of WWE title run by Big E with the Money in the Bank deal, and then Brock Lesnar got it back at the Royal Rumble. He's still on top. Austin Theory. Everything with Vince on screen is bad. His in-ring talent is amazing. AJ Styles, booked in multiple feuds on multiple shows where viewers didn't quite know what was going on. One night he was feuding with Almost, then he disappeared, did not show up for the next episode, so they put him on NXT against Grayson Waller. Everybody seems to be focused. Here, no meandering around. Seth Rollins' feud with Edge went on too long and got stale. Inserts evil Joker laugh into every line of conversation for no reason.
That's true. That's true.
Feud with Roman was better. LA Knight, great talker and athlete, loses to everybody. Gets put into a fatal 4-way for the NXT title after Samoa Joe got injured again, then has a match with Braun Breaker before the title match for no reason and loses in Braun's first ever TV match. Remember that? They had a guy in a title match, a fatal 4-way for the title, the vacant title, but he came out and got beat earlier in the show. And then went and
he was really good from what we saw of him.
Well, yeah, he's great. Everything he does, he can work, he can talk, he fucking bounces around. He's got the old school bullshit. He can't beat a rug. He couldn't whip cream with an outboard motor. Continuing with the heels. Sami Zayn, stupid WWE comedy. Kevin Owens, bad booking and good pushes after each other again and again. Bobby Fish, released currently at AEW. Roderick Strong, bad haircut and has to carry a faction filled with unknown talent. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, used to get Rick Booger over. Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, left and went to AEW. Raquel Gonzalez, dropped NXT women's belt to Mandy Rose and hasn't been called up to Raw or SmackDown. No big feuds coming. She could be great on Raw with Rhea Ripley in a tag team. There I disagree, because then you've got the goddamn skyscrapers of women's tag teams. And Raquel and Rhea Ripley would be the Sid and obviously better talented, but Sid and Spivey, and that they're so much bigger than everybody else. What do you fucking do with them? But have you seen, Brian, what they've done to Raquel Gonzalez?
I have not, but you said that the last time you saw her, they dolled her up and she was wearing lots of makeup and everything now, right?
It's worse, I think. She started out with that fucking badass, don't fuck with me, I'm this, big, and they were using her kind of a diesel-ish bodyguard type of thing, and suddenly she's become the fluffy soccer sis or whatever. I can see Bruce going, oh yeah, she needs to have a hairdo. Whatever. Anyway, Shayna Baszler hasn't done anything significant since her move to SmackDown, and they just brought Ronda Rousey back. They could do something there, but they'll probably screw her over too. Frankie Monet did nothing significant in NXT, got beaten by Mandy Rose and the Toxic Attraction faction, and got released with her husband, John Morris. Remember, they brought her in? She's going to be Paris Hilton. What a fucking gimmick. She had the look. She could work. She had experience. She had 2 matches, and they said, fuck it. Charlotte Flair, nothing really bad so far. I'm sure they'll get to it. Here's the babyface list. Samoa Joe, released, brought back, got NXT title, gave it up, released again. Randy Orton, weird tag team with cannabis bro Matt Riddle, good in-ring, promos suck. Damien Priest, and here, he's been on Raw, and we loved Damien Priest in NXT because he was a grown adult man that sounded like he had some bass in his voice and could work in a environment where that was at a premium. But he went to Raw, and it wasn't worth watching 3 hours of that shit every week. Just see Damien Priest, so we've kind of lost track of him. But apparently, from what old, Brian, how could I forget that name? From what Brian says, Damien Priest, they changed his awesome entrance song and Archer of Infamy gimmick to a split personality disorder.
No.
This is what he says. He's making it up. Where he hasn't won a match in 2 months while being the U.S. champion. He has a stupid dark side called Damien who beats people up until he gets disqualified. Now, are we going to have to search this out to see if it's really that bad?
Yeah, I can't believe that, because this guy was the size, the look, the promo could work, their style.
Yes.
And now he has a split personality?
I'm going by what I'm hearing here. Cult of Cornette members, feel free to chime in and fill us in on this.
You know what? He's not getting over the way we want. What should we do? Give him something that people can relate to, like a split personality.
Yeah, because nobody's ever enjoyed archery. Anyway, Bronson Reed released after he dropped the NXT North American Championship to Isaiah Swerve Scott from Hit Row, and then their entire faction got brought up to SmackDown and released 2 weeks later. Cesaro gets pushed, then you don't see him for 2 months. Drew McIntyre, after he lost the WWE title, seemed to be no real plan for him. Went SmackDown, was alongside Jeff Hardy in an odd couple but kind of cool babyface tag team until Jeff walked out / got released. You know what? He's the first wrestler that's actually legitimately walked out. You hear this all the time, right?
Yeah.
No, some of them quit. Some of them fucking just resigned. Some of them got in the car and drove off, but he literally walked right the fuck out of the ring. Anyway, now with Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal was a waste. Now he's in a feud with Happy Corbin that no one wants to see. Dominik Dijakovic, whole Retribution T-Bar thing stalled his career. Not released yet. That should be by people's names on the roster. You know, when you got an election, people are Democrat D, Republican R, or if you want to make a wrestling roster, you could put BF for babyface and H for heel. I think on the WWE roster, it ought to be NRY, not released yet.
There's a lot of wrestlers there that would buy that shirt.
Odyssey Jones, never on NXT. I think he's injured, but they weren't setting the world on fire, putting him on TV beforehand. Sheldon Benjamin got kicked out of the Hurt Business, lost to Bobby Lashley in a 2-on-1 handicap match alongside Cedric Alexander, was chasing the 24/7 title on screen. Bad booking and usage. They don't like Sheldon at all, do they? They just want to torment him. Chad Gable's doing silly comedy with Otis. Tommaso Ciampa won the title in the Fatal 4-Way after Joe got injured or / released. Nobody's ever yet said what that injury was. Dropped the title to Braun Breaker and is probably the beginning of the end. I don't know. Maybe he'll find a way to stay vibrant. Finn Balor. WWE executives recently said Vince doesn't want to push Finn anymore. Have you heard that?
I had not been paying attention, to be honest.
Apparently, it doesn't matter. They've pretty much nullified old Finn at this point anyway. Where is he?
Last we saw, he was in NXT, I think. But, you know, he's one of those guys, I hate to say it because I know he's talented, but I think there is a ceiling for someone like him. If he goes to AEW, I'm sure they could do something really great with him because of the Bullet Club, but...
was he in the thing too, the Bullet Club?
He started it. He was the guy who started it before, you know, everyone else joined after he left, actually.
Well, good. Then maybe he can take it away from all of them. Do it right. But yeah, I mean, an athlete with a lot of experience and it can work in AEW, they could get some mileage out of that, but not if they intermingle him with, again, that sorry segment of society. Moving on, the women. Bianca Bel-Air. And I guess I don't know if he put the tag teams in or not, but Bianca Bel-Air losing the title to Becky Lynch in 26 seconds at SummerSlam was stupid. Becky Lynch, nothing bad so far. Toni Storm, remember, he said, okay, she's got something. Actually, he says asked for her release and got it. She actually left the country rather than be employed by the WWE again.
Yeah, you said no one walks out. Toni Storm.
Well, no, she flew out.
Well, she started by walking. You have to walk before you fly.
Well, but then she drove before she flew, so and I guess you got to crawl before you can walk. Who's going to be the first one to crawl out? And finally, Rhea Ripley lost the Raw title to Charlotte Flair for no reason, got put into a stupid tag team with Nikki Ass and got the tag titles, then lost the tag titles to Zelina Vega and Carmella and is in a stupid feud with heel Nikki Ass. There you go.
It's a sad state of affairs.
That's what they've done to our kids. Our roster that we spent probably more time and effort picking than they did, Brian, and they just dispersed them to the far winds.
It will be interesting to see going forward when they bring people up from NXT. Do they get treated better than Paul Levesque's guys did when they got brought up from NXT?